Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first of May's SHOUTCraft Clan Wars, sponsored and brought to you by MLG TV. My name is TotalBiscuit. It's going to be a good one today. Bit of a clash of the Americas, which is always nice. It's actually a rematch from the finals of the unfortunately ill-fated Demos Esports Team League. IvD versus Root Gaming. Big shout out, of course, to Demos, who unfortunately disbanded very recently. Definitely a sad loss to the scene. It always sucks to see a team go under, especially one that actually plays by the rules and is honest. I love your girlfriend. Want to game it. Yeah, you get the idea. Okay. This should be a good one. Let me show you the lineup. That's what it looks like. It's pretty good. Going to open up with a classic. Cats versus Puck on Neo Jungle Valley, which should hopefully be a hive of creativity. See what I did there? Then we got a TBT on Neo Polaris Rhapsody. We don't generally see TBT here, so this is going to be really cool. Masa taking on Apocalypse. That should be a really good fight. Then Cats and Drewby. Yes, Drewby is not dead. This is news to most of us, I feel. They'll be taking on Rough and No Regret in the 2v2, followed by Caliber versus Fog, a PvZ on Wrecking Ball. Again, we don't see too much PvZ on that map, so that should be kind of cool. Then Drewby, revived from the dead, will take on Zerg Zing Zing. Fallen Dreams. And finally, Mighty Kiwi, replacing Sasquatch, who had to step out unexpectedly, will be taking on No Regret in a ZVZ on New Pompeii. Is anyone remotely surprised that it's in the Zerg vs. Zerg and New Pompeii? Probably not. You know, if there's any map I think that we will initially consider cutting, it's probably that one. Because, yeah, the ZVZs are good, but they're the only games we're getting. It is a very Zerg-friendly map, to the point where nobody who isn't Zerg wants to play on it. So that will probably be the first map that we cut in Clan Wars. We wanted to give the maps a good few months to mature. I think New Pompeii's meta is probably gone about as far as it's going to go. So we will think about getting rid of that. But the rest of the maps are developing quite nicely. And I'm looking forward to seeing, again, a Zerg, but a creative Zerg, playing on Neo Jungle Valley. Because that's traditionally not a very good map for Zerg. But we have seen Zerg be able to pull it off before. So, what have we got for you? Well, firstly, I am wearing this stylish dressing gown because it's Saturday and I don't give a damn. So I can look like well, I don't know if I'd look like a homeless person per se, possibly a crazy person, we can go with that, but damn, it's Saturday. Dressing gowns, man, seriously, it is the way to go. It's the best. It's a Saturday, you don't have to give a damn about anything, you can kick back, relax, all cool, possibly shoot some b-ball, but that would involve going outside, which exposes you to risks of skin cancer and mugging. So neither of those seem like a particularly good idea. But whatever the case, it should be a fun match today with two very evenly matched teams, which is always what you want to see. You know, stomps are not that fun to watch, even if it is your favorite team doing the stomping. I like to see some even fights, and IvD and Root had a bit of a tussle, of course, in the finals of the Demos Esports Team League, which IvD actually won quite convincingly. So Root is looking for some payback at this point. I'm going to check if the guys are ready, and then we will begin. Big thanks, of course, to MLG TV for sponsoring this. And we do have 7 Clan Wars this month scheduled, involving a whole bunch of your favorite teams. So do check out the Team Liquid thread. That is actually the place to go if you want to find out anything about SHOUTCraft Clan Wars. I do keep the thread very up to date, so you should be able to find that information there without too much of a problem. All right. Are we about ready to begin? I think so. Cats confirms ready. Cool. You know what Cats was doing before this match? He was playing Hearthstone and trading cryptocurrency. Hopefully that was some kind of Zen meditation technique required in order to calm his nerves and prepare his competitive spirit to do battle with IvD Puck. Because if it wasn't, Puck's going to kick his ass all over the map. So let's see what happens here, shall we? It should be fun. Which is the main thing. It's really the only thing we're looking for out of these matches, honestly. Do we get a good amount of fun? Usually we do. It's a cool thing about Clan Wars. Whatever happens, something weird is going to occur. That I can almost guarantee you. Alright, folks. We're ready to rock and roll. So here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Neo Jungle Valley. And it's my pleasure to introduce to you the opening contenders for this Best of 7 Clan Wars series. Between IvD's Puck. He is in the red trunks, and he is playing Protoss to the southwest of this particular map, Neo Jungle Valley, versus his opponent to the northwest position. In the yellow trunks, the captain, the Padre of Team Root. It is the one and only Cats. Cats comes off a recent run at the Lone Star Clash, ran into some fairly tough opponents. It was a pretty cool series he actually fought with Binsky, if I recall correctly. That was kind of cool. Outside of that, he unfortunately didn't do too well, but the members of his group were very tough, so it's kind of to be expected. Cat's always known as a very creative player, to the point where top Casper Zergs like Sue are coming along and saying, yeah, this guy is basically the reason why I did this build. Cats is that damn creative. You know, creative, I think, is often used as a snide remark. This is interesting. What is Cats doing? What on earth is Cats doing? This is not... What is Cats doing? I have no idea. He's gone for a little drink at the Oasis. The calm in the middle of the map. Cats. What is... maybe he was looking for... I don't know what he was looking for. I have no explanation for that behavior. That's really weird. Okay. I think... No, even that would... Maybe it would... The only thing that... No, that's stupid. No, I don't have an explanation for it. I'm going to have to ask him after the map. I'm trying to think about exactly why you would do that on this map. So those of you who don't know, this map is a semi-island, meaning that the entire map is walled off with rocks. The only way you can scout early on as a Zerg player is with Overlords. The only way you can scout early on as a Protoss player is with a Mothership Core. And the only way you can scout early on with a Terran player is Scan or Reaper. So you can clearly see who has the early edge in scouting there. But going up to that position, this area right here, would that help him in any way? I don't think so. I don't think you necessarily get enough vision to do so. You can see if the Protoss player had taken a third base here, you could see it from this position, I think. Actually, I don't think you could. Only barely. So, scouting here I don't think helps you too much. What I think Cats is trying to do, of course, is try and determine where his opponent is. Because the risk of doing 3 hatch before pool on this map, it sounds like a great build for a semi-island map, and you're right, to some degree it is. The risk is you put your 3rd hatch in a place, let's say the Protoss player spawned here, yeah? And then you put your 3rd hatch here, and then he puts cannons or a pylon up above the mineral line and just destroys you. That's a big risk. So, Cats did head over to the center of the map to check with the drone there, but I don't think that sees anything, honestly. Maybe it... I mean, you wouldn't even send a probe out in this map, so... Again, I'm gonna have to ask him after the game what that drone scout was. It's very weird. Okay, gonna put this down here, which I like. You know, it's definitely a good place to put your pylon. There's, of course, a good reason for that, because putting your pylon down there will allow you to warp in without breaking the rocks down. Yeah? So you take it down, and then you just go all the way over here, and hey, you're natural, and you're 3rd. So you can do Zealot run-bys with a pylon like that. It also allows you to keep an eye on this to make sure that there's no 3rd base going down or any kind of nonsense. We have seen some Zerg players try to kind of make a base and then sort of spine up and push. We saw some weird elevation stuff, I believe, from Hendralisk on this map, although I don't know if that was 100% planned or whether it was just a weird kind of situation. A single stalker coming out from Puck, and he's going to go for the Stargate, which is the standard meta on this map. Of course, you want to go with the Stargate. You build a single stalker to kill and drive off Overlords. So that's always a nice thing to have. He's going to get an Overlord pretty much for free here. He might even end up getting a second one if Cats gets a little bit too impetuous with that scouting Overlord there. But that's kind of the price you pay. And a later Mothership Core here from Puck, because he knows he doesn't need it. Double Stargate from Puck. Alright. Old school build. Very old school. Most likely going to be Phoenixes initially. It could be something else, but Phoenix is really powerful on this map. Very, very good. Allows, of course, you to pick up queens, harass worker lines, gain full air control, get effectively unlimited scouting. So I like the decision to go Phoenix here. So Cats has gone outside of that 3 hatch. There's no big 2-base gateway all-in coming. With 2 Stargates up, Puck is unlikely to have the resources to do anything but pump out Stargate units. And while Phoenixes are not massively expensive, you actually get handicapped by the fact that they build really quickly. So it actually costs a lot to do double Phoenix production. That's almost your entire mineral and gas income on 2 bases, just if you're producing Phoenixes, especially if you're chrono boosting. So that's something you have to bear in mind here. He's committed to this Phoenix right now. And that means that Cats needs, of course, to be ready to respond to airplay, but he can drone quite safely without having to worry about a big 2-base all-in play coming across the map. Cats' Overlord is taking a little trip into the tree there. Very stylish. There's the +1 air weapons coming out from Puck. So he's committed big to this. He can, of course, end up going into Void Rays. He can add Oracles into this composition as well. It's very effective. It does the job. And it often forces the Zerg player to go for Hydralisk. And usually for Spore Crawler, and, I mean, now Cats has got to be putting Spore Crawlers down. He can't just leave this open. He now knows that the Phoenix are around, and that there's actually quite a lot of them. With Chrono Boost, the thing is, Puck only showed 3 of them. So it may be that Cats underreacts to this. 3 Phoenix, you could have them by this point if you went Stargate early and Chrono Boosted a lot. But 5, there's no way you're doing that without double Stargate. And of course, now Cats knows that, so he's going to think, well, 1 Spore, not going to be enough. He has 5 Queens, but they're going to be lifted up quite quickly. And here we go. Puck looking to try and get the first blood in a combat unit today. 1 gets lifted. Second one coming up right here. Puck having no problems dealing with this whatsoever. 2 more Queens in production, but Cats seems to have completely misread. And honestly, you've got to guess a little bit on this map, but usually preparing against air player is a very solid strategy because the Protoss player is likely to use it. There's a lot of Overlords going down here. Thankfully, Cats' supply isn't too high, but that's not really much of a blessing he's going to be too happy with. And another Queen goes down here as well. That's going to be another dead Overlord, and Puck is just ripping through everything. A double lift to bring that down. There we go. It's dead. And Puck gets out there without losing a Phoenix. Phoenixes are deceptively tough, honestly. They don't look it, but they actually have very good shields, and their maneuverability allows them to get out of trouble. He'll probably lose himself a unit here, but this is now 9 Phoenixes, and while there are 63 drones currently on the map here for Cats, he doesn't have enough static defense. He's building Hydralisks, which is fine if you make sure you can use enough of them. The transition out of this is double Robo, which is very surprising. I have to wonder what that's going to end up being on 2 bases. Oh, never mind. I just, as he was doing all of this, he took a 3rd base and secured it, because what's the Zerg player going to do? That's not enough Hydralisks, Cats! No, 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 no! Cats tries to rally his Hydras in, but you need a critical mass, because otherwise Phoenixes beat Hydras very handily, and these Hydralisks are going to be picked off. There's not enough static defense on the ground here for Cats at all, and he is bleeding hard as Puck picks away. The one thing that... No, Cats doesn't even have that in his favor anymore. I was going to say he has a good worker count, but no, he doesn't. His queen count has been so decimated in this. I mean, look at this. 7 queens dead. Only 6 drones, but 7 queens means a lack of lava injection. Cats is floating a huge amount of minerals because he doesn't have enough lava to actually spend it all. And this is a trick. This is a transition from the Protoss player. Nidus is on the way up, though, so it looks like Cats is not going to allow this to lie. But, I mean, this was... I mean, it might get scouted. We'll see. There's the lift coming up. Cat's bringing the Hydras. He does have his setup sorted out so that he's got the range upgrade. He's looking for the muscular augments as well. He's probably going to Queen Hydra Nidus, but he doesn't have anywhere he can Nidus. The only Nidus he could do, I think... I don't even see what he can do with that Nidus worm. He's got this Overseer, but it's going to get hunted down. I think Puck's going to find it, and he's going to kill it. Unless the Hydras can somehow come and intercept it. And it looks like they have been able to do that, although they are not firing at the Phoenixes. There we go. And Puck's... that was a weird reaction time there from Puck, but the Overseer's down. Nidus is going up, though. He did manage to get the visibility to create this, and Phoenixes don't counter Nidus. Unfortunately, Void Rays counter Nidus. So a couple of Hydras come out and immediately get obliterated, so that didn't work out at all. The idea, I suppose, was to hit before Colossus came out, but they're on their way now. Double Colossus, double Void Ray, and Cats is in a lot of trouble right now. He's going to try a full frontal assault, which with enough Hydralisks might be enough, if he can do it. But, I don't know, there's 5 Void Rays. It's and a lot of Phoenix. This is going to be difficult. Not impossible, certainly, but difficult. There's a probe in this Warp Prism. I think he actually wants to create a pylon behind the rock wall off. Cats is going to start to push forward right now, and he's going to need to do damage before these upgraded range Colossus come out, because otherwise he's going to get beaten down in a big way. And he's going to be revealed here as well. Cat sort of runs up against the rocks. He's going to break those rocks down very fast, but he's fighting into a choke. 1 Colossus is up. Extended Thermal Lance is not done yet. He's going in before it, and there go the force fields. Just what you want to see. It's a nasty choke to fight into. You really don't want to do it, and Cats gets the bad end of that engagement. Puck looking really, really solid on this map. If Cats had a plan, it was derailed thoroughly by the play of Puck here, who went for the double Stargate opening and took his economy to pieces before being able to transition into 3-base, a double Colossus production, and double Void Ray. Yeah, things are looking pretty dire here for the Root Captain. Cats is still floating a huge amount of money, And it looks like he is saving it for Hive units, but he's going to lose parts of his economy. He's only on 3 bases. The Protoss player is on 4, if you can actually believe that. I believe that must have been the Warp Prism dropping the probe there. Some Phoenixes do take damage. He's now down to 5, but he doesn't really need Phoenixes anymore because he's going to have 6 Colossus. And I don't really see a great way of Cats getting out of this without a lot of Vipers. And I think Cats knows that. He's going to build some Vipers. He may try to do some Nidus play, but it's going to be very difficult to do. Puck still has air control. So, oh, he's going to get a free Void Ray out of that. So that's a nice little pickup here for Cats. Not sure what Puck was doing wandering over there with that. That's a very expensive unit. That's effectively capital class unit. It's that damn pricey. Cats opens up another route. He needs to make sure that he gets out of that choke point, though. That is a place where Hydras die, as we've seen on this map before. And he's starting to build his army back up again, but he needs those Vipers. And if he doesn't have them, he will just get destroyed. And I think he knows that. He backs off immediately. He's like, oh, great, 6 Colossus. Well, we're going to need to see some Vipers draining energy very, very quickly, and they're going to need enough for Abduct, and currently they do not. Abduct is quite an expensive ability, 75. You can do 2 of them if you happen to have the energy for it, but looks like Puck wants to attack before that happens. He's going to be delayed a little bit by the creep, but outside of that, oh, there's a Warp Prism up to the top here as well, so as soon as Puck attacks, he'll be able to warp in Zealots into the 3rd base. That's going to be pretty brutal. Nidus Worm is going to die, and it's going to be down to these yoinks. Are we going to see good enough Abducts? That's a terrible engagement for Cats, losing a bunch of Hydras already. We need to see those Abducts come off! 1 Abduct, 2 Abduct, 3 Abduct, no focus fire, and I don't think that is going to be enough in any way, shape, or form. And Puck is going to crush through this army, no problem at all. There's the GG, and Puck looking dominant in this first game here for IvD against Root. Cats gets taken to pieces, and whatever plan he had, unfortunately, never came to fruition. Good build. Always assume it. And to be honest, like, Protoss, 90% of the time on this map, go Stargate. Assume they will go Stargate. Yeah? If you want to produce a lot of queens, you want to produce a lot of drones, then for the love of God, also produce a decent number of spores. At least 2 per base. Make sure your queens have a safe place to go back to, so that any attempted pickup of a queen or a drone is costly to the Phoenix-using player, because otherwise you'll get taken apart like that. Ouch. Well, good start here for IvD, who are looking to get yet another victory against Root, as they did in the Esports Team League by Demos. And they're currently at 1 game in this best-of-7 series. After the break, we will be bringing you the next in this series, which is going to be a really cool TBT on New Polaris Rhapsody between Marsa and Apocalypse. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to SHOUTCraft Clan Wars. IvD versus Root continues here with a TVT. Should be fun, should be fun. It's going to be between Marsa and Apocalypse. Looking forward to this. TBT with Marsa in it is always cool. Marsa is a really cool TBT player, very fast, and Apocalypse, of course, very good at this matchup as well. So I have no doubt that this is going to be fun, and we get to see a TBT on New Polaris, which I am very much looking forward to as well. It's so rare to see TBT here. It's a very common map for PvP, but TBT not so much. I believe we've only ever seen 1 of those before on this map. So we're about ready to rock and roll. Marsa versus Apocalypse will be the next in this series. Root looking to try and pick one up here. Apocalypse, definitely one of the stronger players for IvD, though, so this will be no cakewalk for Root Marsa whatsoever. Marsa, having won an event before, you know, he is good, but he's always been referred to as this kind of Root secret weapon who does really well in practice and then is not able to necessarily translate that to tournament results. So he is hoping that we will see a different kind of Marsa in this series. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to bring you, in the red trunks, playing Terran to the northwest of New Polaris Rhapsody, IvD Apocalypse, versus his opponent to the southeast position in the baby blue. Playing Terran as well. He is from Team Root, and he is Marsa. Cool. How's this gonna go? Well, this is a weird map because the usual sort of siege tank warfare is made difficult as a result of the rising lava that pops up every 5 minutes and immolates everything over half the map. So you want to be a little bit more careful. It does encourage some more mobile bioplay. It makes drops very much preferable. It's the kind of thing that you want. You don't really want to play mech on this map for the very same reasons. It's not impossible to play it. You know, the lava is a threat, but it does only happen every 5 minutes. So you can play mech, but if you do it, you are possibly going to get hurt as a direct result of that. Yeah, something horrible might happen to you. We're going to see a gas opening from both players. We may very well see an early Banshee or we could see some kind of Hellion drop play. Both of those are a possibility. I would favor Banshee here. I think that there are a lot of things to do with the Banshee. It can be a bit difficult because there's not a huge amount of space to the side of the map, but the main is very large. So there are a few escape routes around that which work fairly well. Drop play can also work because there are places that you can drop in this base which are very easy to hide stuff in. So if you want to drop maybe some Hellions down and then just have them rush in from the side, that can work pretty well. You can also drop between the natural and the main base very effectively. But I would be quite surprised with this gas first opening if we do not see a Banshee from at least one of these players. Masa on the scout. Gonna have a look around and see what he can see, which will not be too much, but he will get the feel of this gas first play, which Apocalypse will not because he has elected not to scout. So this may give an edge immediately. There's the factory coming down for both players, so almost a certainty that it's going to be a Banshee. And Marso is going to see that. It's going to be nothing to prevent him from seeing that. He'll see the... I mean, he doesn't even need to see the gas at this point. He sees when the factories come down. He doesn't even need to scout the gas. He sees that there's no second gas, so he's like, okay, I know what this is. This is obvious. I like the placement of the supply depot here by Apocalypse. We've got the same thing from Master as well. Both of these players are realizing that these bases can be vulnerable to either, and it sounds weird, but it's possible, either a drop or proxy play. You can actually float a building over, place it here, and start building things like Widow Mines in the corner. It's a bit of a risk, so you do want to watch out for that. Alright, a second gas is being taken here by Masa. Let's see. I mean, the starport has got to come down, surely. It's going to be a Widow Mine opening for Apocalypse, then into a starport, though. So it is possible that what Apocalypse is trying to do is a very early full Marine 2 Widow Mine drop. Or he may be playing counter to what his opponent is. He's got his scout denied, though. Does he suspect that there is a Banshee on the way here for Masa? Since Masa is not actually building... Yeah, I mean, he's got the tech lab down here. We know what this is. There's not even a question about that. Since Master is not building a Widow Mine, he'll almost certainly be going for Cloaked Banshee. Alright, up comes the Lava Surge. Will there be a second Widow Mine? There is, but Apocalypse is kind of supply block, but that's fine. It's going to line up. So it will, by the looks of it, be the full Marine 2 Widow Mine drop. Bit of a classic little build here. Definitely doesn't counter the... Well, it can counter the Banshee, but the chances are that by the time the Banshee is coming, Master's Banshee will be airborne, as will this Widow Mine. So, I don't see it doing too much. What I would like to see from Apocalypse is either a Widow Mine in the back or an engineering bay. I would definitely like to see an engineering bay because he's used more scan energy. So, this is a bit concerning. He should have one more scan available by the time the cloak is done. So, that's not too bad. But I am still a little bit concerned. Alright, here it is. There's the medevac, and it's heading across. It might get seen because of the nice supply depot placement here. This drop could definitely do damage. A Raven follow-up is coming up from Master, though. So Master's actually covering all bases here. With this Raven, he should be able to deal with any kind of full Marine 2 Widow Mine drop. And he didn't really scout that per se, but he has to know that that's also a possibility. Cloak Banshee is not the only build that you can do. And Apocalypse's timing is going to hit around the 6-minute 30 mark. The Raven is not going to be out in time. Cloak is on the way. Here comes the drop. I believe he might have dodged past the vision range here. Yep. Oh, no, he hasn't. He knows. And... oh, that's absolutely brutal. There was a hidden Widow Mine in the mineral line. Look at it. Look at that. That Widow Mine placement is really, really good. Look at that. Apocalypse actually has a Widow Mine right next to that Widow Mine. This placement is so well hidden. So well hidden that even Master doesn't realize it's there. And it's actually going to die to the other Widow Mine, I think. That is comical. Wow. Apocalypse didn't even realize that it dropped down. That placement is so good. You know what? The reason why is that Widow Mines can actually be seen as these small little gray imprints on the ground. It is entirely possible to see that. And he put it there to prevent that from happening. That was really clever from Masa. Even I didn't see that. I couldn't see it on the map there. Oh my god. Wow. Masa, incredible performance there. So, a lot of damage is being done. Yeah, this is how much damage. 17 workers killed. I mean, Masa is in a dominant position. Apocalypse's position is almost untenable at this point. He has lost a lot of workers. He did get his orbital command up a little bit earlier. The problem is that Mars is just building another command center, and Apocalypse doesn't have a standing army. He's got 2 Vikings, a Hellion, and 2 Marines. Losing that drop was absolutely critical, and this Widowmine is the MVP of the day. I mean, we only need to look at the resources lost. 1,600 to 275. The only thing that has died here for Marsa, just one thing, I believe, was 1 Banshee, and that was it. And Marsa's going in with yet another Banshee here, just picking away. That is going to be driven away, at least the turret's up, but Apocalypse just got thoroughly hoodwinked by that build, frankly. He didn't see that coming, and he is getting bitten hard as a direct result of that. And now Marsa is firmly ahead. And in a mirror match, this is not the kind of deficit that you can come back from with ease. And Marsa knows it. Marsa knows he's ahead now. You know, that was the whole build. That was Apocalypse's early gambit, and it just got shot out of the sky. I think, honestly, the prevalence of those Widow Mines in the mineral line is probably why those drops don't happen too much anymore. It's too risky. The Widow Mine doesn't... I don't believe the Widow Mine kills the medevac outright, but the Marine backup certainly does. So, it's pretty ugly. Well, Apocalypse has his own Banshee, but... it could do a bit of damage. There is a missile turret on the way, though, and then there is that Raven there as well. I assume this is uncloaked, and I would be correct in that assumption, but... well, there you go. Nothing lost to this point, but more units being taken out. Marsa's Banshee is just brutalizing Apocalypse at this point. There's no other way to say it. You know, Apocalypse is so far behind in every possible aspect of this game that I don't see him getting back into it. It would be very difficult. He got a worker. Now he needs 24 more of them. And even then, he's still behind because his opponent has a 3rd command center. Well, Marsa's just going to build up a force, and I think now's probably the time to go. There's really no way that Apocalypse could defend against that kind of army. 19 Marines and 3 siege tanks alongside a couple of Banshees, a Raven, and a couple of Vikings for air control. No way in a million years. Apocalypse does get himself a nice pick-off here. He's able to grab the Widow Mine, but he's going to lose his Banshee for it, which is definitely not a trade that's worth having. And, well, the Hellions are going to march right into the middle of getting killed horribly. Oh, they go for the shots, but quick spread there by Marsa avoids it, and the Banshee's going to pick them off. And, well, once this 3 siege tank contain comes in, I don't see too many ways of Apocalypse getting out of it. It's going to be difficult. If he manages to break this contain somehow, then that's one of the things he needs to do to get back into this game. A point defense drone is put down here as well. That's pretty brutal. There is the missile into the middle there. I'm kind of surprised that he would use that rather than a PDD. I would have perhaps been more useful here, but that natural is now being abandoned, and Marsa can now safely move up the ramp with his siege tanks, and that will be GG by the looks of it. Oh, just I wouldn't even say so much of a build order loss, just a case of a Widow Mine loss, running his drop right into that Widow Mine, and that was it. It cost him the whole game. And not, I'd say still not preparing for the possibility of a Cloak Banshee was a little bit sloppy there by Apocalypse, and he paid the price. GG. Marsa evens it up, 1 apiece in this matchup here. Solid play from Marsa. There's pretty much nothing I can criticize about that. He played very well. He got a good build order versus his opponent. He denied scouting. He got scouting information on his opponent. He saw what his opponent was doing, and he shut it down. Simple as that. No more arguments to really be made. Alright, let's take a quick break, folks, and when we come back, we're going to do the 2v2. Cats and Drewby take on Rough and No Regrets. A TVZ versus TBZ on Sacred Path here on SHOUTCraft Clan Wars. My name is TotalBiscuit, and this is brought to you by MLG TV. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to SHOUTCraft Clan Wars. It is indeed a casual weekend, absolutely. And we're going to have a 2v2 here between Cats and Drewby. Yes, Drewby. He's a real guy. He exists. No Regret and Ruff will be representing IvD. So 2 very well-known players versus 2 not-so-well-known players here in this 2v2. And I couldn't tell you how it's going to play out, honestly. I mean, could you find any more old-school players than Drewby and Cats? Not really. Not in the American scene, no doubt about that. No Regret and Ruff a little bit newer to the scene, certainly. Less well-known, with something to prove here on the 2v2 matchup. And they're currently tied at 1 apiece. So we have no idea where this is going to go. But both teams don't want to drop the 2v2. In fact, the 2v2 and its preparation has become rather important for these teams throughout the Clan Wars, and we've seen some rather interesting builds as a direct result of it. So, ladies and gentlemen, here we go in the yellow trunks. Representing Team Root, playing Zerg, it is Cats and his teammate, in the Style and Pink Trunks, Duck Hunt, aka Drooby, from Clan Kappa. Which seems to be a typo of grey space face, no space. Versus his opponent to the east position. In the light blue trunks, playing Zerg for IvD, it's No Regret. And his teammate in the red trunks, playing Terran, it is Ruff. Now, the last time Ruff played, he had a bit of a rough time. He played Starbow, and then lost and cried about it. But he is back, and he will now be playing the 2v2. So let's see if that's better. That is a 9 pool from No Regret. Usually we see 10 pool Hellion. We might be seeing 9 pool Hellion, which is kind of the same thing. Wouldn't make too much of a difference. The question is, will either of these players elect to do something interesting? Well, we're most likely going to see Banshee play here out of Mr. Kappa here, also known as Drooby. It's a very good map for Banshee play because the two teammates' bases are isolated, meaning that they can't provide each other air support. At least, not without some serious effort being put into it. So that can be a bit tricky. No Regret will be going for a Speedling Rush. And aside from that, Ruff is actually going to go with a double barracks wall off for his natural. Now, we have never seen that before. A lot of players like to wall off here, but no player, to my knowledge yet on this map, has attempted to do a full wall off of their natural. That's really interesting. So, cool little strategy coming out of Ruff here. In the meantime, we're seeing far more standard play, certainly out of the Root guys. Probably gonna, as I said, be Banshee here. Pool's coming up here for Cats. He hasn't expanded yet. In fact, he's been droning pretty hard. He may like to do a one-base play, but I can't imagine that he will. Zerg is... you don't want to really do that. Usually the Zerg players are the ones that take the second base on this map. Lings are on the way across the map, and it looks like No Regret wants to try and kill Cats early. But Cats should be ready for this. Like, this isn't quick enough to actually do the damage necessary. I mean, it's also without speed, so... yeah, No Regret has got to hit the Terran player. Yeah, I was going to say, if he's heading for Cats, then that's suicide. But heading for a Terran player, particularly when they try very early, this is actually, yeah, he's going for Hellion. This is a really, really early Hellion build. It's not actually a Banshee at all. There's the wall-off. Ruff with the triple barracks wall-off on his natural here, and the Lings are on the way, and they're going to start doing damage. This reactor's going to go down immediately. I love that. No Regret's decision to do that is actually amazing because it completely prevents any sort of big Hellion surge coming out of Drooby. So that's a really great start here. And now, Marines rallying across the map here for Ruff. 3 at a time. He is indeed going one base pure vanilla Marine. Lovely pickoff initially. And now I have a feeling that Ruff and No Regret are going to want to try and group their forces here and decide where to go. It's already a good start for IvD. They kind of have the build order advantage. Ruff is actually bringing SCVs. So I think he will try and bunker up. If Cats tries to counterattack here, he can avoid, and that's exactly what he's going to do, I think. He's going to actually just try and counterattack, but he can't counterattack Ruff. There's a triple barracks wall-off. He could maybe counterattack No Regret, but not if he loses his Lings on the way. He's trying to cut off reinforcements here, and Drooby brings up a Hellion. Ruff continuing to reinforce across the map. And No Regret is able to fend off these Speedlings for the time being. And this slow advance here from these naked Marines and slow Lings is making its way to Cats' base. And they're not going to find themselves a hatchery to kill, but they will find a lot of other stuff. So that should work out pretty well. However, it looks like No Regret is going to get caught out. Since Cats has a few too many Lings, he's going to cut off the reinforcements. He has Hellions backing him up here as well. The Lings are coming in, and Ruff is trying to reinforce, but most of his reinforcements have actually been cut off as they attempted to get across the map. He's now building up more reinforcements with No Regret to try and continue to push, and he probably has the means to do so. I wonder how much this will cost, though. Bunkers will probably go down here, I would imagine. We're looking at still 10 drones only for No Regret. 13 for Cat is going to have much, much fewer than that momentarily. Drooby is producing Hellions, but at a much slower rate than he should have. The Lings coming in, the bunkers are trying to come up, but Ruff is going to lose his Marines. A nice decision there by Cats to take those out, realizing, well, you know, Lings don't go into bunkers, and the defense is looking good. With the Hellion backup and the Queen, along with cutting off the reinforcements, it looks like Root have been able to take the upper hand here. And, wow, it looks like a collapse is going to come in. He wants to try and bring this down. They're desperately trying to make their way across the map. No Regret needs to keep focusing this down. He needs to bring these rocks down pretty much immediately, but he's too late. If No Regret had continued to attack that rock tower, they would have been able to kill it, but I have a feeling No Regret just might have cost them the game. It's going to be, of course, very difficult for them to attack Ruff because he's fully walled off, but No Regret, on the other hand, well, that's a different matter entirely. The speed is finally done, and Drewby is working on his Banshees here as well, along with his double Hellion production. This attack from No Regret, and Ruff just failed completely. And now it looks like Drewby is going to be able to solidly shut down No Regret's attempts. Drewby's back, ladies and gentlemen, and Katz is backing him up, and they're going for it. No Regret does not have enough defense, and Ruff, well, he is safely hidden inside his base, but what's he going to be able to do? He's got a factory down. He is going triple Banshee on one base. Things that do not work include possibly, most likely, that. Yep, that is not a build that I have seen work too often. Unless No Regret gives him all his gas, which No Regret has 8 gas, so I don't see that really working. I'm not sure where Ruff is trying to go with this. I mean, he could build 3 Banshees, but only if he gets 3 Tech Labs. Maybe he gets 3 Medivacs? No, there's the 3 Tech Labs. He is going triple Banshee on one base. Yeah, okay. This is cool and strange and probably won't work. But I'm looking forward to seeing it happen anyway. All the drones are down. No Regret is basically dead and out of this game. He doesn't have the money to produce another drone. He only has Lings. Lings now coming in. The Marines behind this wall off, though, are going to make this impenetrable. And it's Ruff against the world right now with his triple Banshee production, which could very well catch his opponent completely off guard. I wouldn't be expecting triple Starport behind this. Certainly not. Is Ruff an evil genius? Will he be hired for a 6-figure salary by Alex Garfield immediately following this match? We will find out. No Regret is desperately trying to keep his units alive, but he is currently contained. There's no way he's getting out of there without his units being hunted down. He wants to do the best. Sporecrawler gets up and actually shuts down one Banshee. He's going to shut down a second. Drewby! Oh, almost lost his second Banshee. That would be bad. This is great for Ruff, though, because Ruff, he is doing it. Triple Banshee. It's here. He's actually got 2 more following up. 3 Banshees are now out. And there is no air defense here for Katz at all. He is going to lose a lot here. Drones taken out. I believe that money, yeah, money must have been given. In fact, it was. I assume money was given to No Regret to build a couple of drones, but that's going to be it for No Regret. He's dead. He could just be an Overlord Scouter now, but here he is. Ruff will try and save the day. He comes in with triple Banshee, completely unexpected Starport build, and Katz's economy is getting absolutely ravaged. All the queens are down. There's no defense whatsoever. Drewby needs to desperately build a Viking. Ruff is going to focus down the lair. He now has 5 Banshees from one base for some reason. Unfortunately, this command center is not going to get built, I'm afraid. We have a missile turret up, though, so actually that's not going to do anything. He's eventually going to lose that orbital command if he's not careful. He might want to build a Viking. He's unfortunately supply blocked. All right, here it goes. Where are the other Banshees? 5 Banshees on the field here for Ruff. Where are the drones? They're hiding in the corner. All right, the lair is down. No bases here for Katz, and no money to build another unless he's given money by Drewby. So Drewby must build the Vikings right now. And I mean, that's going to be Ruff dead, surely. If Vikings come out, Ruff is dead. He has no way of answering that. He is currently very slowly repairing this one base and is building supply depots. If he gets air control with Vikings, Ruff can still win this. Ruff comes in with 5 Banshees and obliterates half of the army of Team Root. The rest of it is running away. As you might imagine, Cloak is on the way for Ruff. He is still on one base somehow. But if he's not careful, he's going to lose his only mining orbital command, which would probably be bad. Oh no, the Viking kills it! Ruff now with the air control. The single remaining hero on the field for IvD. Well, that and the 3 Overlords of No Regret. 2 Overlords of No Regret. Alright, here it is. Ruff has gone full 1 base, 3 Starport Sky Terran all in. It is quite the build. And I mean, Drewby is not actually that well prepared for it yet. He does have Vikings, though. Actually, he's only got 1 Viking. This is potentially disastrous. He is building missile turrets, but missile turrets don't last long against 6 Banshees. As long as Ruff's control is good and he's able to pull back the weakened units. But, uh-oh, Marines! 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 No, Ruff! Ruff loses 2 Banshees immediately. Oh, no. Runs right into that. Drewby has the means, by the looks of it. Cloak is about to be done. Ruff's still looking to try and do damage here. The Banshees are now cloaked and coming in. Oh, he's found the base. He has found the base. There's the stim. Ruff trying to micro against this. Infester! Fungal growth saves the day. Cats on no bases catches the entire Air Force with fungal growth. Kills yet another Banshee, only 3 remaining, but Ruff is still fighting. More drones gonna die here. Looks like the hatchery may very well be compromised. Ruff trying to get out of the way, and he's able to do so right into a missile turret. And he somehow doesn't lose that 2 health Banshee. Ruff is still controlling against this. Infested Terrans coming down right now. They will try and kill the Viking. A Ling run by. Does nothing at all. Ruff pulls back. He's building more air units. He's still in the game. More reinforcements being taken out by Ruff's double Banshee. Somehow Katz is able to re-establish a base. Druby currently on 3 bases. Finally, Ruff, 15 minutes into this game, is expanding. He is fighting on his own with an Air Force. He is now building up a Marine count. Ruff looking to pick off yet more SCVs, and he's managing to find a few. There's the stim. Oh, the scan's going to take down 1 and 2. Oh, that's a mistake. He was too close to the missile turret. Ruff taking yet more damage on the Banshees. Druby looking strong right now. 46 SCVs for Druby. Katz re-establishing his economy. Ruff not able to deliver that killing blow as of yet. A big drop into the main of Ruff, and this could very well seal the deal. There's nothing left here for Ruff by the looks of it, aside from some Marines and a few very heavily damaged air units. The drop capability will be eliminated, but the army capability of Ruff will be annihilated as well, and that, I think, is going to be that for IvD after a brave attempt and a crazy transition here from Ruff, which almost worked. This wild TBT is coming to a close. GG, ladies and gentlemen, from IvD, and Root takes it. Druby is back from the dead. What an insane 2v2. That was awesome. Ha! Triple Banshee on 1 base. Who'd have thought it? Apparently that's a thing. Haven't ever seen that before. Not even in an amateur game, let alone a pro game. That was kind of great. Alright, folks. There we go. Root currently takes the lead 2-1 in this Clan Wars series. We're going back to the 1v1s now. And the next matchup in our best of 7 will be Druby again. No, it won't. That's a lie. It will be Caliber taking on IvD's Fog on Wrecking Ball. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We're back to the 1v1s here. Currently, we have Root Gaming leading 2-1 in this best of 7 Clan War, and the next match will be Caliber against Fog. And it looks like they're about ready to go. It's going to be on Wrecking Ball. We don't see a huge amount of Zerg versus Protoss on this map. Not a lot. So I'm intrigued to see what happens. Countdown has now begun. The next phase begins. Yes, it does. That 2v2 was wild. It was a lot of fun. Definitely enjoyed watching that. Hopefully we'll see a great deal more of the craziness as that map continues to evolve. We see yet another new build. This map continues to surprise. I think there's a reason why it won the 2v2 map contest on Team Liquid recently. It continues to bring new builds to the game, and that's awesome. We see the meta constantly evolve between these pro gamers. 2v2 is kind of great, and we should probably see more of it. Let's rock and roll, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Welcome to Wrecking Ball. To the south position in the pink trunks. Playing Protoss, it's Root Caliber. Versus his opponent to the north position. In the red trunks. Playing Zerg, IvD Fog. Zerg versus Protoss on this map. Again, don't see it too often. At all. At all. We see some PvT. We've seen a little bit of TVZ. We've seen a great deal of ZVZ. But ZVP, not too much. Not too much. How will it play out? Not sure. Not yet, anyway. Let's see what Caliber decides to do. Well, I'm thinking maybe he might decide to do some cannons. That can work pretty well. Here's one of the things about this map that's a little bit unusual. Outside of the fact that there are neutral missile turrets to the side, which will shoot down anything and everything that come in. That's pretty unusual, but one of the unusual things about this map is that the natural is on the high ground rather than the low ground. That means that cannon rushes can be extremely effective. It's a bit difficult to wall off entirely because this unbuildable plate here makes it a lot trickier to do the kind of 3-pylon wall off. But it's a possibility, and Caliber is on the way. It is more of a 14 Forge, though. So I don't necessarily think that this will be a cannon rush. Caliber may attempt to try it. But Caliber has cannon rushed on this map before, to hilarious effect. So I can't be 100% certain if he won't give it a shot. It might be worth just putting a pylon down. The hatchery is certainly going to start, but a pylon in the back might work. We'll see if he tries to do that. Maybe he just kind of baits and says, hey, oh, there's the deny. Caliber. He's going to pylon block? I mean, he's got the opportunity. Yeah, he's going to pylon block. Nice. I doubt this will turn into cannons. I mean, there's a spawning pool on the way. It's almost done, so he's going to see. It's like, all right, 14 spawning pool. Okay, cannon's probably not going to work out too well. I would have needed that to be a hatch first if I was really going to do anything with it. Unless he decides to do something wild, like try and cannon behind that. But no, he's not going to do that. He's going to go for the expand. So, Forge Fast Expand out of Caliber. Nothing too fancy. Pylon block is obviously a little bit annoying, but it will get cleaned up. Fog is going to take the base down here. Not a brilliant base to take, at least not initially anyway. And if Caliber sees that, he may attempt to even place a pylon down there. He might even try to cannon. He checks the base. He wants to know where his opponent's gone. It's like, you can't still be on one base. There's no way. Where are you building? Oh, you're going to build there? Okay. The problem is, with Forge Fast Expand, he's limited in terms of his aggressive options. I mean, his gateway's only just going down, so he can't really punish the position of this. And by the time he can, the chances are the creep's going to be there anyway. So, this is okay for Fog. He's in a decent enough spot. Caliber doesn't have really the means to do anything here, especially now that his probe has been grabbed and is going to be nibbled on its way back. But it will get back safely, unless it decides to do something a little bit wild a couple of feet before the door, which it will not. Oh, yeah. Cannon says no. Alright, so we transition into the next few minutes of a fairly passive game, a 3-hatch build here from the Zerg player, obviously, since he's going up against a Forge Fast Expansion, why wouldn't he? And the Cybercore is not even built yet, so we don't even know what tech path Caliber is going to take. He has taken both gas, but that could mean for Protoss pretty much anything. Basically, if a Protoss player takes both gas these days, that means that he's Protoss. And that's the only thing you can really derive from it, unless he's mining anything less than 3. So not really too much we can see from here. Stargate is probably not going to be something he's going to want to play, because one of the escape angles is covered by neutral missile turrets, and there is very little space at the back. So a Stargate play for Oracles would be very difficult. He may elect to simply go up to Colossus. This is a good map for that. Nothing wrong with Colossus here. Blink Stalker maybe, but unlikely. We'll see. He is building a Stalker directly after that, but of course he does need it. I wouldn't call this a Zealot Stalker Mothership Core rush, certainly. It's not a rush. It's going to hit about 7 minutes if it decides to go in at all, and I think it would be far too risky unless Fog decides to get super greedy. This is just for defense and maybe to keep his opponent honest and say, look, you know, you can't just build 4 Lings because I do have a Zealot Stalker and Mothership Core. That's not going to be enough. So, you do that. Fog's going to take one of the gas here. This base is not as good. Oh, it actually only has 6 mineral patches, and it only has 1 extractor. And no, it's not high yield either, so it's not a brilliant base to take. You know, if you want a better base, you've got to take a risk and go forward a little bit, or maybe even try and take this one. But trying to spread creep over there is almost impossible, so that can be a bit difficult to take. Caliber just going to clean out his side of the map and just say, hey, no problem at all. Oh! Zealot gets caught out and is going to die. And maybe not. No, it's not. No, I was going to say it's got to die. There we go. But Fog investing a couple more Lings in that than he necessarily would have wanted to. Currently, we see that 5 Zerglings have been lost to the cost of a Zealot, which, you know, is about a decent enough trade one way or the other. Neither player is going to be super worried. Fog going for the Evolution Chamber and the Roach Warren. Okay. Possible Roach Hydra build out of this, maybe. With 1 Evo Chamber. That could happen. He's getting its speed really, really late, too. Immortal's coming out of Caliber. Okay. Let's see yet another Overlord die. This is not a friendly map for Overlords. There's not many places they can really hide. They've got to come across the map, and they usually have to hover over an area where they're just going to get killed. You can't even hide off to the side. You just get murdered, so Zerg players have a pretty tough time here scouting and keeping their Overlords alive, and that means their Overlord coverage is often quite weak. So they have to invest in creep spread instead. They've got to spread creep very proactively, and currently that's not something Fog is doing that much. He's going to eventually join his 3rd up, but as it stands, he hasn't really done too much with the creep. He only has 3 queens, so he doesn't really have spare energy. So he's just spreading off of one creep tumor at the moment. That could be really risky. I think he's going to realize that he's pretty much blind at the moment. Now he has a Ling there, a Ling here, and this Overlord off to the side, which could also get killed, and that's it. He can't keep any Overlords safely over here, and he certainly can't move in one from the right, because it'll get killed by the missile turrets. Holy crap, gateway explosion here from Caliber. Caliber going up to 8 gates, and 2 base Immortal all in. Alright. Sentries, we only have 3 of them. So, not really a soul train per se, but 3 Immortals and a bunch of gateway units is enough to knock on the door of pretty much anybody. Hydra Den is halfway done. We might see Hydras out before Caliber's attack hits, but we certainly will not see Hydras with Grooved Spine. We might not even see Speed Roaches. So this could be difficult. An army is being built here for Fog, but the army supply, while in favor of Fog, is lacking kind of the key components that might be needed to build this. We're going to see a huge warping come in very, very shortly from Caliber now that all of his gates are done. Let's see. More sentries, so this is now a soul train. There's no doubt about that. Hydras are on the way, though, so maybe this won't work. There is that forward pylon that's been picked off, and Fog now knows that something is on the way. He's seen the Immortals, he's seen the sentries, he needs to prepare for it. Hydras are a good way to deal with this, but they're more difficult to make work without the range upgrade, and he's not going to be able to get the range upgrade. I think he knows that. He will have Roach speed, but those Roaches will die quite fast to those 3 Immortals. Warp Prism coming in to reinforce this as well to allow for that Immortal Micro. And this third base will be the place to fight, and this is a... I don't know, it's not too bad, but if Caliber pulls back, and I mean, the Force... Oh my god, wow, Fog falls into that trap completely. He gets force fielded off in a big way. And there's the Time Warp coming down as well. Fog's army has been split in 2 here, which is just a disaster. And Fog had kind of split himself up, but he'd split himself up too much, allowing for that attack to happen. Caliber is now going to push forward, and the army supply is still in favor of the Zerg player, and he's pumping out a lot more units, but you have to bear in mind they're going to take a while to reinforce. The creep's still not joined, so without the Hydra range upgrade, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. Caliber is thinking about it. He's thinking, you know what, I want to leave. I want to pull back. This might not work out for me. Well, we will see what he decides to do from here. He's still warping in units. I mean, this is an all-in. He's on 8 gates. He has no tech beyond his Robo-Bay. He is now working on +1 ground armor. He wants to make this attack work. Currently, it isn't. I'm surprised that he wasn't able to get that 3rd base, but I think that he just didn't want to commit. He did have the force fields placed. I mean, he had locked down the majority of Fog's army, but he didn't go in. Now, there was a risk of being flanked from behind. If he got trapped there, he would have lost his whole army, and that probably would have been it. I believe he used all of his energy. Yeah, he did. He didn't have a recall available either, so... Yep, Caliber's going to expand off this, and that puts Fog in a solid spot. Admittedly, Fog is still only on 3 bases, but he's going to be pretty happy with his position. If you look at the amount of units lost here for Fog, he actually lost very little in that fight, and Caliber is now in a lot of trouble. And somehow, 8 sentries died. I imagine good target fire coming out of the Hydralisks resulted in 8 sentries dying. So, Caliber is lacking on the sentry count in terms of what he had previously. He spent a lot of gas there, which means his tech is very much delayed, and Fog wants to take the fight to him now with a huge army supply advantage. Now, will Caliber be able to take a good fight, which will allow him to defend this? It could happen. He still has those Immortals alive, remember, so the Roaches aren't really all that important in this fight, but the Hydras are very important. Could definitely do with bringing the rest in as well. I think he's got those set up for a potential Warp Prism counter harass here, but Fog is going to try and attack up this ramp. Force fields could destroy his army, though, so it's still a bit of a risk. Even with this huge army supply lead, you're thinking, well, how could the Zerg player possibly lose? Oh, he could. Yeah, there's no doubt. He very well could lose this fight. And I think he knows it. There's the Warp Prism, and that's actually being scouted, so Fog knows what he's doing here. He does have a contingent of units prepared. This is a bit of a risky base to take for Caliber. This is the problem with this base. Yeah, it's close by. That sounds good in theory, but you can actually get attacked from the back here. I hope Caliber realizes these missile turrets are here, because there's no way he's getting around to this side. If he tries to attack from this position, his Warp Prism will be destroyed immediately. So it's a bit weird that his Warp Prism's there, and honestly, Fog can feel relatively safe. I think what will happen is he'll come around here and then try and attack from the south, but yeah, it's a pretty dodgy place to put your Warp Prism. Unless, of course, he wants to destroy the missile turret, which would be weird. That's a nice little cutoff there. That's what he needs. You know, it takes out about 6 or 7 Hydralisks for free, so that's good. Fire is still being put onto this Nexus, however. There's certainly enough Hydras to make a fight of this. Photon Overcharge has been used, and some Hydras will die. The Force Field's gone off again. Great Force Fields. this time around. A bit too much overlap, but ultimately the effect is good. It results in a lot of dead Zerg, especially Hydras, which is super important for bare minimal losses from the Protoss player. So that is what I would call a set of good, if not perfect, force fields. And what is this Warp Prism going to do? I mean, it's going to do nothing. It has no choice. And the 4th base taken here for Fog. Fog takes some significant losses there, don't get me wrong, and his army is much reduced now, losing 15 Hydras and 12 Roaches for a cost of a few Zealots. Is not a brilliant trade for our Zerg player at all, but his economy's still in a good spot. Scouting efforts denied. Split comes in. I mean, I wouldn't want to be engaging directly here. Not with this. He wants to go for Hive Tech, and I think that's the right way to go. A couple of force fields going down here. Trying to do something. Fog trying to get position in order to get a good concave going here. A couple of Vipers being added in. That'll be a good way of getting the Immortals out of that composition and possibly yanking the Templar as well. But Templar are ready for feedback, so what Fog wants to do, I think, another Photon Overcharge being used here, so Fog's probably pretty happy with this. He's going to be able to take a couple of probes and he's also forced another Photon Overcharge out, meaning that there's no Time Warp energy on the Mothership core, which can be a huge problem for a force like this. And these Roaches are doing good damage. You know, 15 workers killed by Fog up to this point, so yes, Caliber took a 3rd base, but he's not able to fully utilize it, and it's constantly under threat. The lesser base is... This is a safer base, a much safer base, but it's a lesser base. It doesn't have as much going for it. So, it's a bit of a problem there. This Warp Prism. It's just so sad. What is it going to do? Not much. Storm has been started here, and... Well, we've got an awkward position here for Fog, because while he does have a good army, it's not a brilliant siege army. He doesn't have Blinding Cloud, he doesn't have, say, Ultralisks to knock down those force fields, he doesn't have Broodlords to threaten from the sky. He has a Roach Hydra army. He basically has a Tier 2 army against something that is now very much Tier 3, with a good amount of both Colossus and Templar now being added into the mix. Cannon being added in. Calibus certainly should have put that one in earlier. There's the yoink, and that's going to be one dead Colossus. That's always good, but the force fields are down here as well. Fog taking a decent fight, but he's still fighting into a choke point. More force fields put down, and those are good. Again, a bit too much overlap, but with 8 sentries, I guess it doesn't matter. And Fog realizes, no, I can't attack into this. I've got to leave. I've got to leave. Fog's going to take a 5th base, and I think he's just going to keep taking up and try to macro through this. But Caliber has survived. He's survived well. And this is, bear in mind, out of a failed 2-base 8-gate all-in. He transitions out into 3 bases and is now at his full amount of tech, really. I imagine he might even want to consider air tech at some point. There's the 4th base going down. Where did that Warp Prism go? Did it run? Where'd it go? Oh, man. Did we miss it? That's so sad. I was trying to keep an eye on that, but we missed it. It must have run into the missile turrets. I couldn't tell you at this point. Maybe it didn't. Maybe it was killed by something else, but the Warp Prism is dead. That's very sad. I am depressed. I'm going to have to look at the replay and find out what it died to. Bit of a run by here by Fog. Again, very, very vulnerable base. That's going to be a crippled probe line. The whole probe line is going down here. That's absolutely brutal. 33 workers killed now. And Caliber wasn't in position to defend it. It was out of position. It's as simple as that. And there's a feedback. That means one popped a good storm. That is a really meaty storm right into the middle of the Hydras. Another good storm. This is looking okay. Caliber's going for it. There's the blink underneath the Vipers. And the Colossus finally goes down. But Fog takes a huge amount of damage. 2 really big storms. There is the huge blink forward. And Fog's army just got flattened. But the Remax... 18 Roaches, 17 Hydras, and 2 Vipers. Fog's economy is huge. And he even somehow manages to get a Roach run by past this. And is trying to harass this base. It will, by the looks of it, be saved. Although this Colossus has taken a little bit of punishment. But no, this is definitely not going to go down. But Caliber took a much-needed win in that fight. I mean, Fog's Remax is massive. But, I mean, look at Fog's bank. It's kind of crazy. But losing full energy Vipers is a big deal. The Hydras took huge, huge hits from the storms. And it went right into the middle of the Hydra Ball. They sat in the whole thing. At that point, Fox should have just said, oh, screw this, I'm out. Because one Colossus shot, and that's 10 Hydras just evaporated. So, that was not a brilliant engagement for Fog at all. And I think Fog is well aware of that. But he wants to apply more pressure. He might be able to catch the Mothership core out here, which would be good. He gets it. That's always nice. Cost of a couple of Roaches for that. I think it's an even trade. And then Fog's now going to hit this mineral line again. And he can very easily pull back. Caliber is really going to have to start mining from that other base. There's the yoink up to the side there. Down it goes. And he is engaging pretty hard against this. You know, he's just trading He's trading money for money, but saying, you know what, I've got more than you do, so I can just drown you in dollar bills, y'all. Dark Templar Warpin's coming in, though, so the sneaky has begun, and there's actually no Overseer with this army. Where are those Dark Templar, you might ask? Where's Wally? Yep, DTs are stuck behind the Immortals. 2 Storms right in the center. Caliber very much on point, hitting those Hydras. This is a really weird fight because the DTs are completely stuck here. A few get through, though, and that is Fog's army obliterated. Not without Caliber taking significant losses, though. Finally, though, Caliber breaks the siege after about 15 minutes of that, and is now going to start to hit Fog's outlying bases. It's going to take base number 5 out very easily. That's pretty much going to die. All the drones die as well. That was a good little haul. Bear in mind, Fog's killed 50 workers, but the damage... These are +3 DTs, by the way. These hit for 60. And now he's going to morph them into Archons as well, which are going to hit for 1 billion points, which I assume is how much an Archon hits for. Caliber's getting back into this. He's pretty low on supply, but he does have this base to the corner, which is much safer. It doesn't mine as well, but it also doesn't get murdered by Hydralisks, so that's a bonus. Fog with this just random watchtower over here. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye on the minerals, guys. It'll be fine. It's alright, there's nobody here. Oh, jeez. That's Francis, the lonely sentry in the corner. He was given guard duty. They couldn't figure out anything else. He was employed basically due to equal opportunities policies. He's not very good at what he does, you know. He doesn't have too many claws. He's got no fighting experience whatsoever, but my god, can he guard the side of the map. Except against that Dark Templar. He can't guard against that. Oh, free Archon. Okay, Fog's gonna try and fight again. There's no way. This composition isn't good enough. Surely. He's going to try it anyway. He's breaking up the ramp. There's the feedback on that. And another storm. My god, Caliber, your storms today. He's not missed one. And Fog has just been eating it on the Hydras over and over. This is... Fog's economy is still god tier. Fog's even trying to take this base down here, which I think is a great bet. You're protected by missile turrets. Why wouldn't you? Take it to the other side. But there's DTs cleaning up on the other side of the map. 21 drones are being killed. And Fog's economy is starting to come to pieces. And Fog's bank is gone. So, as weird as it still, as I'm saying, well, Caliber's looking really good, even though Caliber's on 114 supply to 182. Caliber's looking really good. He's got the right composition against his opponent's army. His opponent's army might be huge, but it can't get a good fight, and he doesn't have enough Vipers to make this work. He's not tried to tech. He's going almost pure Hydra against Archon Storm Colossus. I think the one thing that Fog's got going for him is there's only one Colossus right now. This base is going to get gutted again. Caliber! My god, you've been building castles in the swamp. Really. They said it couldn't be done! I built a nexus in the swamp. Then it sank into the swamp, so I built a second nexus. It sank into the swamp, and I built a third nexus. That fell down, set on fire, then sank into the swamp. But the fourth one stayed up. Dear Lord Caliber. And your huge tracts of land. He's not going to have too many huge tracts of land if he keeps allowing those Hydras to just pick off his bases over and over again. I mean, you'd be better off taking this one. At least you can defend it. From the back of the ramp, this is so difficult to deal with, and this is a good composition for this map, and Fog continues to pick at the economy of his opponent. Roach Run By is attacking a pylon for some reason. That's not really going to get much done, but I think that Fog might be considering trying to transition out. But here's the thing, he's taking a lot of economic damage. He's down to 36 drones. His DT is still working away. It finds the base. It finds a Hydralisk. The lack of Overseers and lack of Spore Crawlers is hurting Fog more so than anything, and it's really allowed Caliber to get back into this. Fog's army is looking significantly less scary than it once did. This base is obviously mining. This base is mined out, so you've got kind of a 2/3 of a base here for Caliber, maybe 3/4. So Caliber's economy is not brilliant, but his army is very strong and well upgraded. Although it has to be to deal with Fog's army, which is even better upgraded. Okay, Fog needs a good fight. He can't keep bleeding like this. He needs to get the yoinks. He gets a yoink into the center. The one Colossus down. The huge storms! And I mean it. I'm not just making that up from a caster standpoint for height. Does Fog have enough? He's got a good arc here. The Archons are going down. I think Fog maybe, just maybe, has what he needs to break this. There's still enough Hydralisks alive to make this work. Roach push forward and Caliber GG's, and Fog, after smashing his head against a wall for 29 minutes and almost losing his entire economy, is finally able to break his opponent. Caliber put up a good fight there. Gotta admit, though, a really, really good fight for Caliber, but Fog evens it up. 2 games to 2 here in IvD versus Root. Cool. Very cool. At bare minimum, we're going to see match number 6. We're looking like we might see an ace, which should be even better. Okay, folks, the next map to come up. You wanted to see a great fight. You're going to get one. You're going to see Drewby make his triumphant return. Yes, indeed. And he's going to be going up against Zerg Zing Zing. We'll find out what happens on Fallen Dreams right after the break. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. My apologies for the extended break. Had to deal with a couple of things, but we're all good. You might actually hear it in the background. It's getting a little bit windy over here. So, just needed to batten down the hatches and make sure the dog didn't get blown away. All right, we are ready to rock and roll, folks. The next game is going to be on Fallen Dreams. It's going to be a Terran versus Zerg. It is going to be Drewby taking on Zerg Zing Zing. Very much a newcomer versus an old hat. Drewby, of course, one of the best players in the Wings of Liberty beta. Disappeared for a very long time indeed. And is back in the clan war. Not only did we see him play in the 2v2 to good effect, but we are now seeing him play in a 1v1 on Fallen Dreams, which is in itself kind of a treat for me as someone that also cast in the Wings of Liberty beta all the way back then. I remember casting Drewby. I actually played against Drewby's, well, it was his then girlfriend, I believe at that point, in a charity show match, being the first and only televised competitive event that I have ever won. Whatever the case, to the southwest position, it's not much of an achievement, is it? I just have a little trophy on my wall that says, I beat her! Not like that. In the pink trunks, playing Terran, Mr. Kappa Duck Hunt, a.k.a. Root Drewby, versus his opponent to the northeast position, up-and-comer here for IvD Gaming. In the red trunks, playing Zerg, it is Zerg Zing Zing. We have seen very few TVZ on this map. The ones that we have seen have been pretty cool. We've seen Jackji on this map, which ended up being an amazing, amazing game. Absolutely awesome. We have seen Apocalypse on this map. And now, of course, we're seeing Drewby and Zerg Zing Zing. What the hell is Zerg Zing Zing doing? One, he's scouting extremely early. I think he's looking for proxies. He's thinking maybe there's a proxy barracks or something along those lines. He's not going to find one. It's actually going to be a very, very standard opening here for Mr. Kappa, aka Drewby. Not a brilliant map for Reaper, but not awful either. Basically, main base scout for Reaper can be pretty difficult, but natural scout is not that hard. There are ways in. You can't bypass this area easily, though, with a Reaper, so you've got to kind of go around this area. There's not actually that many places to jump up. It's not hugely exposed. Zerg Zing Zing finds something and is going to nibble away, and he's not going to get an SCV, I don't think, but he annoys Drewby a little bit. Oh, he's going for it. He is committed to this, and is immediately warded away by the sign of the Kappa, which is an ancient Chinese secret, if you didn't already know, designed to ward away demons and Zerg drones. Spawning pool on the way up here for Zerg Zing Zing, having taken this expansion in the natural, which is another high ground expansion, but it's a lot closer. Joining creep up with this is so stupidly easy. It takes 2 tumors at most, to connect these two together. And the problem with it is that you've got this very open area here that you really need to cover with creep to keep an eye on, and then these back rocks, which you've also got to keep an eye on as well. So while it is an easy natural to take, later on in the game, it can actually become a vulnerability, so you do have to watch out for that. Speaking of watch out for that, keep an eye on the bridges. Let's see if anything falls to its horrible acidy death. That would be fun. Let's see a second Reaper come out here. 6 Lings and 2 Queens on the way, though, so I don't see this doing a huge amount of damage. It will maybe get a drone if it's lucky, but Lings are already coming up, so just pop it out at just the right time. Zerg Zing Zing says nope. Drives Drewby away. Haven't heard anything from Drewby in so long. I didn't even know he was still playing Pro Starcraft, honestly, but his control looked pretty solid in the 2v2, and it's actually looking pretty good now, so under his pseudonym Kappa Duck Hunt. Second Reaper's on the way. 2 Reapers might be enough to clean out 6 Lings off creep. Getting the Queens, however, is not going to be something he's going to be able to do, I don't think, so he's going to get a decent amount of scanning information, of course, map control, and that's probably going to be about all he gets here. So far, nothing dies. A peaceful game up to this point. Zerg Zing Zing needs to think about expanding, of course, because this CC is almost complete. Having a look around, Druby is. He finds nothing of note, really. Takes a couple of spines to the face for his trouble, which is never ideal. Ooh, greedy, greedy! Druby going for yet another CC here. Alright, that's a pretty good way to go, I think. We're not seeing a huge swell of units here from Zerg yet, but what concerns me is that Zerg has not taken another base yet, which he's going to go up to 4 queens to start to spread creep in a big way, I would think. Oh, a drone! No! These Reapers are absolutely useless right now. Not getting anything done. Not a thing. And the overload coverage from Zerg is excellent. It's going to see everything. Always. A very classic build here, the 3cc with the Hellions to try and ward away his opponent. But what is Zerg doing? He's still only on 6 lings. He's not really doing that much. Now he's droning again. He's now taking his 3rd base. Okay, I was going to say, is this some weird 2-base all-in? No. He's going to take his 3rd base, but I'm a bit worried for him. I mean, this 3rd CC is going to be done before the 3rd base for Zerg is even halfway complete. Zerg has got to identify that. He doesn't want to be out-macroed here by Druby, who has gone for a bit of a later push with Hellions and Reapers, but still a push nonetheless that is going to require some sort of response. And now Zerg surges with 12 lings to try and deal with that. And a Hellion is going to find itself some Zerglings here as well, giving them the slip on both sides, actually. Whoa! Almost went in the drink. That would have been unfortunate, wouldn't it? Druby just trying to find his way in. So far, so little lost. Nothing dies! We are 7 minutes into a game and nothing has died. Consider how unusual that is. Stim follow-up here. Roach Warren on the way up for Zerg. He's going to need it if the Hellions continue to come, but it looks like it's just going to be a very standard 6 Hellion classic build along with 2 Reapers for map control and harassment. And that's going to be a bunch of free Zerglings. Doesn't get the best sort of shots off, but yeah, he's going to kill most of the Zerglings, and we actually see a first blood at 8 minutes in. Alright. Druby is ready to cross the map if he so desires. The bridges are back up. I want to see more gas being added on here for Druby as well. Certainly don't see a reason not to do that. And double engineering bay. Druby a bit supply blocked. Actually quite heavily supply blocked, surprisingly enough, at 57. He is going to try and harass this 3rd. He can't kill it. It's unlikely anyway, but he's going to get some lava, which... yeah, lava is a resource that is not often talked about, but I wouldn't overextend here. I think he knows that. He wants to try and get out of the way, because there are a lot of Zerglings there, and if they catch that force, they will crush it, and there won't be much on Druby's end to stop any kind of counterattack. Maybe even an attempt to work through the back rocks there. He's going to go for it anyway. There's a lot of lings to the side. There's a lot of queens to ward this off. I have to wonder if Zerg is deliberately luring him in for a surround. I think he is, but this is a difficult place to surround. There's not a lot of room for that to happen, and the creep spread isn't really good enough to justify it. Some good shots coming out here from Druby. Some good control here from Druby. And he should be able to back off after that, and is going to go into bio with double upgrades. Double upgrades also coming in for Zerg. He is going to be playing most likely Mutiling, Baneling. He is up to layer tech. He hasn't started his Spire yet, but he's starting to bank a lot of gas, so unless we see something really, really weird, which is unlikely, he built the Roach Warren and then didn't do anything with it, because I think he realized he can actually defend without a problem. Outside of that, though, nothing much going on, but an attempted Ling run by setup. Armory being set up here as well to transition directly into 2-2. That Overlord is going to be killed off here. And the 3rd base will be secured. A possible Baneling attack might work here for Zerg though. He's got to build his Baneling nest. He may morph some Banelings in from those lings over to the side and then attempt to hit the 3rd base with it. And maybe catch the SCV transfer. It looks like, though, he's just going to go straight in with Zerglings, which is not going to get too much done. It might pick off a few SCVs, but there are plenty of units ready to defend that. Zerg is going to get very little done here. Loses all of his lings for an SCV, which is not worth it. I think the Baneling attack would have probably been better. It could have gone in before the supply depots went up. It could have done damage, but as it stands, it will not. Lings trying to make their way through here will also be shut down. And it's not going to be a Spire. It's actually going to be Roach Bane on 3 bases. Which is not something you usually see at all. That is a very unusual build here. Usually at this point, you'd be getting your Spire out, you'd be fighting, but Zerg says no. He is going to go Roach speed, and he's going to go Baneling speed. Now, Roach Bane all-in is, of course, very popular on 2 bases, but earlier in the game than this. So he's going to legitimately play with Roach and Bane, which could work against a very marine-heavy composition, but you can split against it, you can Widow Mine against the Banelings. It's it's difficult to make work. That said, if it gets enough roaches up, those Marines and the Widow Mines will not stand that kind of attack. And as you can see, we've got a very light mobile force here from Drewby. Split off a bunch of Marines who are going to get picked off, and now he sees the roaches like, what the hell? How have you got so many roaches? What's going on? He loads up everything he can, and then everything else is going to get wiped out. Suddenly, Zerg attack is prepared to go. And it looks like he's going to set up a big Baneling run by on the side here once speed is done. Oh me, oh my. This is starting to get very interesting. The biggest... It's not even a Roach Bane all in. I mean, he's on 3 bases. He can tech behind this if he wants, but this is a really cool move. It's a 2-pronged Zerg Baneling mid-game attack. In come the Roaches and the Speed Banes behind it. And this is going to be a very, very interesting third base. Thankfully, Drewby pulled most of what he needs, and here he goes. There are no tanks. The Roach Bane all in at 13 minutes is most assuredly real. And there's no way Drewby holds this, surely. The Banelings connect. Not brilliant trade, but Widowmine's coming down here. Zerg trying to push in, and maybe, just maybe, Drewby defends, but I don't see it happening. Drewby doesn't have the units for it. At least he doesn't have them here. He still has 31 Marines, shockingly enough. And the upgrades are about to be 2-2. Zerg is in the base, but he actually hasn't done that much yet. So it could work. But right now, the control is looking pretty good from Drewby. He's trying to drag his opponent over Widowmines, but they're not ready yet. And he's got enough medevacs to actually, without Baneling backup, make this Roach attack fairly useless. Well, I guess we understand why we don't generally see Roach Bane attacks at this time. And the Terran player is going to punish Zerg for this hard. And this did not work out too well. Zerg did get 32 workers out of it. But bear in mind that the Terran player has been on 3 orbital commands for a long time. So, now, Zerg had lost a lot of drones somewhere in the background. I'm not sure how that happened. It must have been a... I missed that attack completely. It must have been a drop. Yeah. It was a drop into the natural by the looks of it that did all that damage. I'm an idiot for missing that, and I apologize. And I see another little run by, which is going to take out a few more units. But I'm going to see Drewby pick that off without too much of a problem, I think. And Zerg committed a lot to that. And he lost a lot of his economy in the background as well. So that did have to do more damage than it did. I mean, it didn't actually do that much at all. Surprisingly enough. Alright, well, let's see if Drewby can get his SCV count back up. He's focusing on building units right now, which could be his downfall, because behind that, Zerg was able to drone heavily and get back to a relatively healthy 61 drone count on 3 bases, which is okay. That's not too bad. So maybe the attack did work, and it's hard to say. If you look at the resources lost tab, in theory it doesn't, but maybe it was just enough to hold Drewby back for the time being. The thing is, Drewby still has this big upgrade advantage. The 1-1 upgrades that were put in weren't benefiting the Roaches. Now we're seeing this weird composition and a late transition to Spire for Baneling Muta, which is fine. You know, it's a fairly static composition, but it generally doesn't come at, well, it's going to be like 18 minutes at least before the first Mutas come out. So I think what we might see here from Drewby is a push on that third base, and there are a lot of units ready to defend it, but I think that Drewby does have the ability to at least cause his opponent a few problems, especially with a large Widowmine count, and the Tunneling Claws upgrade having been done. A Creep Tumor gets killed on the ridge there. Oh, the connection! Banelings go pop. But it's not something that Drewby can push onto quite yet. He doesn't have siege tank support. He's looking for 3-3. If he gets 3-3 while his opponent has a 1-1, he's going to be in an amazing position. No doubt about that. Widowmine's going off. Oh, a Baneling connection as well. That actually kind of sucked for Drewby. He ate his own Widowmines to the face there. And he ate a Baneling. He wasn't quite quick enough to micro back from that. So Drewby gets hammered a little bit here. We are still talking about 3-base Terran against a 3-base Zerg, though, with no attempt to expand here from Zerg and his main is almost mined out. Of course, so is the Terrans, but Terran can sit comfortably mining on 2 bases, whereas the Zerg, not so much. He's going to need that 4th base quite soon, and I think he knows that, and Drewby knows that as well, and that's why he's guarding that 4th base location. He could take one here, but that's more difficult to defend. It's kind of a micro base as well. It's not that big. All right. Once again, the push comes in from Drewby. He wants to make his way across the map. And he wants to apply pressure to this third. I don't know. He does have a lot of mines, but he'd have to get some really, really good connections. I think once 3-3 is done, he will be able to make that happen. Needs to watch out, though. His army's being cut off. If Zerg Zing Zing had realized that, since his reinforcements can't come across the bridge, then this army could get destroyed. I think Zerg Zing Zing has kind of realized it, but the trap is set, and the Widow Mines are terrible. They do not connect with the Banelings at all. That one was okay, but there's still plenty of Banes stuck in the middle of that Roach Ball there. And that's going to be an evacuation, no doubt about that. But there's no real answer to these medevacs. The mutas are finally on the way, and Zerg Zing Zing will be able to provide that counter-argument here to those medevacs. But still, 3-3. 3-3 is almost done. This is what Drewby's been able to get done on 3 bases in the background. Yeah, he might not have been able to do too much damage to the Zerg player, but that one drop did some damage, and he got his 3-3 really early. He's about to complete it at about 20 minutes into the game, and he's going to be up against 1-1 Roaches. Oh my god, it's a massacre. Oh, that was huge. That was a lot of Drewby's economy going up in smoke, and that was one of his main mining bases as well. The drop comes in, the mutas are here. Are there enough things to target fire? The low health medevacs, can he get them? One down. Oh, Drewby loses so much in that. But the big engagement is coming into the third base. The Widow Mines detonate. They don't quite hit what they need to, however. Where are the Banelings? It looks like they might be down. The Roaches are here. Are there enough units to fight this back? It's 3-3 bio. It's not enough. Even though Drewby lost so much, it's 3-3 bio. It does not die. The third base is down, and Drewby, regardless of losing so much there, that upgrade lead is just insurmountable here for Zerg Zing Zing. He's getting his natural destroyed. He's lost his third base. He took a crippling economic hit in the main. The counterattack is no good. GG, Drewby is back. He picks up 2 out of 2 games in this series. Oh, what a great fight from Drewby there. Absolutely awesome. Really, really good. And well, it certainly seems like Zerg Zing Zing's attempt at that sort of later Roach Bane all-in on 3 bases were not successful. He needed to do a lot of damage, and he didn't do it. And then suddenly, 3-3 bio comes on top of his 1-1. He was dedicating so much gas to Roach and Baneling that he was skipping his upgrades. He got his Spire really late, so he wasn't able to keep the medevac count in check. It got to a ludicrous amount, and Roaches and Banelings do not trade well with 3-3 bio with that many medevacs. It just does not happen. Crushing performance. Drewby takes another game for Team Root here, and they are now on match point. Who stands in their way, you might ask? I can certainly tell you. It will, in fact, in the next game, be No Regret. He will be the last man standing in the ZVZ against Mighty Kiwi, one of the Seed Academy players, coming out right here. I'm interested to see how he does, I've got to say. No Regret has got to pull this back to the ace match. Will he be able to do it? We'll find out after the break. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to SHOUTCraft Clan Wars. This could be it. ZVZ on New Pompeii may decide it here for Root Gaming, or it may take it to the ace match if No Regret is up to the task. Mighty Kiwi will be playing. He is from the Seed Academy, of course, the Academy of Root. And he will be playing against No Regret on a ZVZ on New Pompeii, which generally doesn't last too long. This is a map that we are very much considering actually removing from the pool, not because it's a bad map, but because it's a bad map for anyone that's not Zerg. So we've been seeing a huge amount of Zerg versus Zerg on New Pompeii, but those ZVZ have been pretty exciting, so we'll see what happens. A lot of the time, this does not get past the Zergling Muta stage. In fact, it almost never does. We usually see just Ling Baneling. Sometimes we get Mutalisks, but here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, to the northeast position in the red trunks, playing Zerg, potentially the last man standing here for IvD Gaming. He has No Regret. We'll see just how true that is, because he's going up against this guy from the Seed Gaming Academy, sponsored by TT Esports. In the light blue trunks, playing Zerg, representing Team Root in this clan war. Last-minute shoe-in, actually, for Sasquatch, who was not able to attend. It is Mighty Kiwi. Just how mighty is that Kiwi, you might ask? I could not tell you, but he's going to have to be very mighty indeed to overcome No Regret and to be able to take this series 4 games to 2 for Team Root. Root has not won a single clan war up to this point, although neither has IvD, so they're both looking to get their first win on the board here, and hopefully they will... Well, one of them's going to be able to do that. That's what I can guarantee. This is my caster prediction, that one of these guys will win this clan war and put one on the board. I'm at Tosis level of predictions here. In my luck, they all forfeit the last map, and that's it. They agree to a draw. That would be an Artosis level of prediction, wouldn't it? This is an interesting map, New Pompeii. It is very much a circular map, as you can probably see. All the way around the side do we see the rush distance. But it goes in both directions. You have two ramps. They're partially walled off, so it actually makes this a lot easier. You could wall this off with a barracks, but what we have seen is that most Terran players just don't want to be anywhere near this map, and Protoss players certainly don't, because there are two potential entrances for Zerglings to get into. I think with the rocks, you could very easily wall both of these off, but no one wants to try it. We've been seeing ZVZ versus ZVZ all the time. All the time on this map. Alright then. Well, let's see where we go from here. I'm hoping that we see a good amount of Baneling play. We might see something beyond that, but again, it is kind of rare. Both going for the spawning pool reasonably early. You can't risk going hatch first on this map. You just can't do it. The reason is that if your opponent rushes you, if your opponent 8 pulls you, 9 pulls you, 10 pulls you even, you are probably going to take a lot of damage and maybe lose that hatchery. And this is a real map for that too, because there are 2 entrances to the main base. There are all sorts of risk. We're going to see an early Baneling nest here from Mighty Kiwi. You might even decide to just play 1 base. It's entirely feasible. We've got another Baneling nest coming up here from No Regret. And they're going to meet in the middle. Or maybe not. They were going to meet in the middle. Now they're not. Mighty Kiwi did see the units coming out, so he set himself up in a defensive position at the top of the ramp to try and take the better end of that. He doesn't know how quick his opponent's speed is. He's only just got his scout off here, so he's not 100% sure what's up. Who's going to get the speed first? Well, they're both going to get speed at exactly the same time, so there won't be any edge. First blood coming out here, as No Regret loses a unit. Not the biggest of deals, but it is a ZVZ. Anything can happen, and we have seen it happen. We're going to see an expand out of Mighty Kiwi. He's like, okay, yeah, I'm feeling this. I can make this work. Let's go. Let's give it a try. No Regret. Going around the other side, though. Looking for a potential. And he picks off the Overlord just before that happens, too. Not only providing a supply block, which is actually going to be a pretty big deal here for Mighty Kiwi, but also giving himself the opportunity to bring Lings around the side and set up a Baneling flank. However, he's got to deal with the Banelings that are coming in right now. No Regret looking for the... Oh, that was so close. Oh, that should have happened, but it did! Whoa, Mighty Kiwi, don't headbutt that! That's not nice! That's not good at all! And No Regret! Will he be able to hold? Oh, the detonation comes off! How much damage will be done to No Regret's economy here? In the meantime, the counterattack comes in, and there's basically no defense at home. It's going to be 8 drones versus 13 in a weird Ling base trade. No Regret's economy is still alive, and let me put it this way, Mighty Kiwi's is about to not be. Unless he's able to get a lot of units out very, very quickly indeed. There is a Baneling being morphed in somewhere here for Mighty Kiwi. It is all the way over the other side. They are trying to base trade with Lings, which is a weird situation. This Baneling is prepared. More Lings coming in. Solid defense, but it's not good enough, and the Baneling comes into the center of it and detonates, and that is the entire economy of Mighty Kiwi getting absolutely gutted. But Mighty Kiwi counterattacks. He's trying to go for it here. There's no drones. There's no drones left for Mighty Kiwi whatsoever. The split from No Regret. GG, and that's it. IvD takes it to the ace match. No Regret with really solid ZVZ play there, and Mighty Kiwi not quite able to make it happen, I'm afraid. Unfortunately, as we find out, not so mighty. 7 minutes. Very, very quick game there. We will... Frankly, we're not going to take too long a break at all to go on to our ace match, but we will need to give these guys a chance to pick their ace. It's 3-3, ladies and gentlemen, in IvD versus Root Gaming. I'm going to take the break to allow our players to decide amongst themselves. They have 5 minutes under the rules to pick their ace. And once we know, we will go on to our final map, which will, of course, be on Neokeru. 3-3, ladies and gentlemen. It is all tied up on the ace match here for IvD versus Root Gaming. I'll be right back after the break. Enjoy the music. And frankly, since that was so short, no ads for you. Just enjoy some great music. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, okay, here it is. It is going to be the ace match between these two teams to find out who will walk away with the lion's share of the $500 prize for this particular clan war, and who will walk away with very little and still no win under their belt here for the clan wars. That is what has happened up to this point. It's been a ridiculously even fight, and now we're going to see the ace, which is going to be IvD's Fog taking on Root Cats. And that's going to be on Neokeru. The countdown has now begun. Let's see who can triumph here. And that's going to be a tough call one way or the other. Fog's really, really good. Cats is really, really good in ZVZ as well. I couldn't call it one way or the other, so we will find out on the field of battle, of course. Neokeru, one of our less crazy maps, but certainly one of our more reliable maps. You know, we've had just pretty good games on Neokeru almost all the time. It might not be fancy, it may certainly not be gimmick-laden, but it definitely has its own unique character and has also produced some great matches. Will it do so again in a Zerg versus Zerg, a matchup we rarely see here? Guess we'll find out. To the southwest position, ladies and gentlemen, in the yellow trunks, the final man standing, the ace for Team Root. It is the one and only Cats versus his opponent. To the northeast position, in the pink trunks, playing Zerg for IvD Gaming, it is Fog. Fog already with a win under his belt. Cats with a loss under his belt. Pretty brutal loss as well to Puck. Very surprised not to see Puck sent out. I would say Puck is, at the moment, the strongest player on IvD, unless you count Gamja, who can rarely play because, well, he's unfortunately in Korea. So that means that right now it is like 5 a.m. for him. Generally not the best of ideas. But Fog has proven himself today, and let's see if he's good enough once again to take down Root. Cats? That's gas before pool, and that's not an extractor trick, folks. Hey. Interesting things abound here for Cats. Ridiculously interesting. That's going to be very, very quick speed. Much, much quicker than Fog. Fog's actually going hatchery first. This could be a real problem for Fog. He's not taking gas. And that's going to be really, really early speed. We might see an attempted very early Baneling all-in. This could even be a one-base play from Cats, although it seems unlikely. But it is Cats. Anything can happen when he is in the game. Absolutely anything. He is highly unpredictable. Comes up with some crazy stuff. Fog hasn't even started his spawning pool yet. The spawning pool is almost done for Cats, and it's going to immediately have 100 gas to go straight into speed. Oh man, Fog is going gas before pool after hatch. It's about as greedy as you can get. Does it matter that much? Well, you know, it's not like this is an 8 pool from Cats. It's not like it's a ridiculously early pool. What it is for Cats is a very, very early speed. I mean, to the point where he is severely delaying his expansion. And knowing Cats, he might not even get one. It's possible. Can he make much happen with those speedlings? Well, he is going to have lings, and he's going to have them probably over the other side of the map before his opponent even has anything. There's the Baneling nest. Cats is going one base all in by the looks of it against Fog here to try and catch him off guard. He might be able to. Fog's build order is not looking brilliant against this, but it's not looking disastrously bad, but it's looking pretty damn bad when you think about it. These lings are going to be at the natural before there's a single Zergling on the battlefield here for Fog. He's building 8 lings, and he's building his Baneling nest, though. So he might be okay. He's going for a Spine Crawler right now. What does Fog know? What Fog knows is there's no expansion unless it's hidden somewhere else. So he knows something's coming. And here comes the engagement. Speed is going to be done very, very quickly, and that could be an absolutely devastating blow here to Fog, especially if reinforcements continue to come across the map. Banelings are now being morphed in. Speed's going to be done in 10 seconds. The Banelings are going to be found. He realizes he's got to fall back to defend here. He must defend this. He's got to hold. Can he do it? Well, he's not outnumbered, but he is going up against Banelings with Slowlings, which is a difficult prospect to say the least, and his opponent has Speedlings, so holding this hatchery is going to be difficult. He might even want to consider getting rid of it, just losing it entirely. The lings come around the side. Baneling connection. Kaboom. One goes in. The second one hits the Queen. So far, we see 5 lings lost here. There's the cancel. Cats gets the better end of that, though. Looking to try and get the connection. Gets 3 more lings with it. Baneling's coming down the ramp here for Fog. The speed is available, though, so Cat should be able to get out of the way of this. 1 queen killed. 1 queen is up here for Cat, so he can... And that's the big deal, yeah? With only... Well, with 1 queen, he's producing 7 lava. Right now, we're getting 6 here from Fog, but it is a bit split up. Getting 6 from the 2 hatcheries there. Is Fog going to hold? He's got more Banelings on the way. I'm not sure if Cats can break it. With a Spine Crawler there, this could be difficult. We're seeing no queen. Fog's only slightly underproducing his opponent. Bear that in mind. Fog is not even trying to get speed. I have to wonder if Cats will be able to make anything happen with that. The Baneling is going to be able to get away with that without too much of a problem. Slowlings are not good enough to take Banelings out. Won't do the job, and Cats knows he's going to be able to shield those quite nicely. Now he has the Ling advantage. He's got less Banelings, though. And Fog's bringing in 2 more. Can he get the good connections off? Well, that was a great connection here for Fog. 2 lost for Cats. Not great. Cats needs a good one. There's the cancellation. Gets a pretty good one. There's still 3 Banelings, though. Cats is being warded away here by Fog. It looks like Fog might get away with this, and I think the Cats realizes, uh-oh. Yep, this is not going to work, and Fog's going back to producing drones. He knows he's okay, and that leaves Cats behind. So, let's look at Lost. So, a Queen went down, and Fog lost more Banes, and he lost more Lings. I mean, he lost more everything, but he has his natural, whereas his opponent doesn't yet. Cats is continuing to pressure. He wants to make this work, and that certainly didn't. The Spinecrawler target fires those down quite nicely. That was pretty good. Got the kind of trade he was looking for there, but there's more Banelings yet, and still a Spinecrawler. 19 Lings lost to 7. 4 Banelings lost to 6. Fog is trading inefficiently, which I think is the thing which is allowing Cats to really stay in this game. If he's able to continue to force inefficient trades, he goes for the run by Cats, draws him out of position. Oh, the connection, the Baneling is right there! Cats! There's the detonation going off. The Lings are able to hit the drone line, but do they do much damage? Not much yet. Cats is still trying to make this work. He goes right for the drone line once again. Going to do a little bit more damage. The Banelings have been scouted, however. We're still seeing Cats trying to make this work. Speed is still not done here for Fog. He hasn't even started. He's trying to defend with the slow Banes alone. Right now, Cats is still a little bit behind in terms of his economy, but if he keeps nibbling away, he should be okay. And bear in mind, there's still no Queen out for Fog. He's just building it right now. Another drone picked off. Cats is equalizing this game. Certainly not what he was hoping for, I imagine. He was hoping for a straight-up win. He didn't get it, but he takes out a number of drones. That's 4 workers killed now. We look at the trades. It's 30 Lings to 21, 7 Banelings for Fog, and 5 for Cats there. So, weird as it sounds, and another run by comes in to pick off a few more drones here, which could work quite well for Cats, but he only gets 1 or 2. Gonna try and hit the main base here. And Cats is now on 3 Queens and 2 hatcheries and actually has the drone lead. So he has done enough to make this work. Just. Only just. Could have been an absolute disaster, no doubt about that, but Fog didn't quite hold it efficiently enough, I feel, and that is going to give a bit of an edge to Cats going forward. That said, the defense is up now. There's no real chance of Fog getting attacked from the front. The Baneling gets out and does absolutely nothing. We look at the resources lost. It's actually very, very close, slightly in favor of Cats, who's taking the 3rd base here. Lair is on the way up quicker here for Fog. I wonder if we will see an attempt to go straight to Muta, but I can't imagine. I don't know. He's getting speed now. He should be okay. Maybe he will play Ling and Muta. It's a possibility, but the Roach one is out on the way here for Cats. And frankly, we see a lot of Roach wars these days in Zerg vs. Zerg. Cats is already on top of that. He's going to be able to start building Roaches before his lair's finished. Slight drone lead here for Fog. He's been able to produce. The 3rd base is on its way for Cats. It's also on its way for Fog. Slight lead for Cats, not too large in terms of that. Cats should be able to defend nicely here. And what kind of style are we going to see? Will we see a Spire come out of either player? Or will we see a Roach-heavy style? We're going to see a Spire. It's going to be for Fog here. Okay. Interesting. Cats looking for the run-by. 1 Spinecrawler has actually been moved towards the 3rd base. So that means it's out of position. A run-by is most likely going to get shut down here. There are slightly more units for Cats, so he should be able to take the better end of this fight, but not by enough for it to matter. And the respawn is able to clean him up quite nicely there. So nothing happened here for Cats, and Cats is now starting to trade inefficiently himself, which is not brilliant, considering his opponent still has the lead there. Off goes a Baneling detonation. Not too brilliant. He's trying to run Banes past this spine, which is not getting anything done. I'm not really sure what Cats is attempting to do, but he is going for Roaches here. The Spire is only halfway done. Slow Roaches marching their way across the map. Are there enough Lings to fend it off? I don't know. He'd have to trade the Banelings inefficiently. That Spinecrawler's injured as well. There aren't too many Queens. The Spire is still on its way, and yeah, of course, Spire shoots ground units quite nicely, but it doesn't kill Roaches too quickly. There's the run by here from Fog. He's going to try and take out the 3rd base. Maybe he has enough Lings with the spawn. I can't imagine he will. The Roaches are trying to push in here, but the Lings get a good surround. The Banelings coming in to back this up, going into the center of that Not a brilliant detonation from Cat still. He's not getting the Baneling hits he really needs, and I have a feeling that third will go down. The Queen gets surrounded. The Banelings come to save it, though, and that is that. Cat's, with not enough roaches, is going to be caught out here by Fog and nailed to the wall. Fog trading well here and getting what looks to be a severe tech advantage. Burrow and Infestors being added on here for Cats, but does he have an answer to the Mutas? He's got 5 queens. That might be enough, and he saved his third base here as well. Fog is active on the map with these Lings, but Mutas are on the way. Ling run by coming around the side, up through here, maybe trying to hit the natural. He'll possibly scout the Spire as he goes, but he doesn't need to scout the Spire. He finds the Mutalisks. There's another Ling run by. Fog wants his third base dead. Fog's going to get this third base dead, and down goes the Queen as well. And the Broodlings get savaged, which, quite frankly, is rude. They only had 6 seconds to live. That was cruel. Cats is going to make yet another run by, but he's again trading inefficiently here. This is not looking good. A brilliant Baneling connection comes out here for Fog, and this run by force is severely depleted. The Mutas pop out at just the right time, and the run by coming into the natural. Cats is going wild here, but can he make it work? He's not making it work right now. He gets some damage done on the drone line, though. He is able to reduce the economy of Fog somewhat, but that has not stopped 16 Mutas coming on the field. And where are the Sonic Spore Crawlers, Cats? Where are they? There aren't that many of them. I'd say that for sure. Cats is trying to defend. He is able to do so, but he lost yet more drones in the process. There are Mutalisks all over the place. That's going to be a lot of dead Overlords. Burrow is going to be finished, which, I mean, that's okay, but he doesn't have Infestors yet. And only 1 Spore at each base is not going to be anywhere near enough to stop 16 Mutalisks. Spores are really good, but they're not that good. Third base fully established here for Fog. Cats is way, way behind. He is behind in every way, in terms of tech, in terms of his economy, in terms of the number of fighting units he has on the field. And this could very well be a repeat of Root's loss in the Demos Esports Team League. Cat's looking for yet another run by, but what does he expect to get done? There's more units coming on board, and here we go. The Mutas are on their way here. And they should be able to find whatever they want. There are no Infestors. Yes, Pathogen Glands is done, but here we go. Spore Crawler is going to get nailed down with only the loss of a single Mutalisk. Yes, they trade well, but they don't trade that well. Oh, no! Pathogen Glands! The Infestation Pit is going to go down. There won't be any Pathogen Glands. Double Transfuse. He wants that to finish, and he gets it with massive Transfusers here. But Fog has so many Mutas. Ling Run By comes in, trying to do yet more damage. It gets cleaned up again. Cats is failing time and time again to get anything done here. The Infestors are coming out, but there's only going to be 3 of them. The Infestation Pit is being rebuilt. The Roach Warren is getting taken down. Cats has one last hope. God-tier Fungals with Spore Crawlers. That is the only way this is going to work for him. These Mutas are going almost uncontested, and frankly, even the production is being camped. And that's the GG, and IvD is victorious. They take yet another win against Root, and their first win in SHOUTCraft Clan Wars. Impressive performance there from IvD. Really great back and forth, honestly. Hell, maybe they should have sent Drewby out as the ace. What can I say? Fog ZVZ looking masterful against Cats, who looked a little bit ropey there, unfortunately. Really happy for IvD. It's really cool to see them get a win on the board. They're certainly one of our, I'd say, weaker teams in comparison to mighty people like Incredible Miracle. It's certainly one of the weaker teams, but they pull off a solid win there against Team Root, who, unfortunately, is failing to impress in this clan war. I have to wonder if it would have gone any different if they had Sasquatch available instead of Mighty Kiwi, who is a bit less experienced. And I certainly imagine it would have gone differently if they put out a different ace, but without access to Minigun, who is recovering from his treatment, and with no sign of Sage. We haven't seen Sage at all for ages, actually. I have to wonder what happened to him. Did he actually leave the team? No, I mean, he's still on Team Root, according to Liquipedia anyway, but he hasn't played in ages, so I'm not really sure what happened to Sage, but Root's lineup is looking, unfortunately, a little bit shaky, and IvD seems to have expanded itself to have quite the depth. So congratulations to them. Really, really cool play from IvD, and awesome to see them put a win on the board here. Well, that's us done for SHOUTCraft Clan Wars today, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to check out the schedule, we've got plenty more coming your way. Lots more. The next Clan War will, in fact, be in a week's time. On Saturday, May the 17th, we're going to have Startail versus My Insanity. It's going to be an absolutely incredible clan war between 2 really evenly matched teams. My Insanity is currently unstoppable in this clan war. They are 4-0, the only team to manage that. Can they make it happen again against a strong team like Startail? After that, on Sunday, we'll be checking out Axiom versus MVP. The 2 Korean giants clash in the best of 7. And then we'll be having Evil Geniuses versus Axiom on May the 23rd on Friday. IM versus MVP, a classic in anyone's book, on May the 26th. EG versus Clan Who on May the 30th. And Root taking on StarTale on Saturday, May the 31st. All of the schedule can be found in the thread over on TeamLiquid.net in the StarCraft 2 tournament section, and of course here on MLG.tv/Shoutcraft as well, where the schedule will be updated. I'll keep you posted when we get the rosters in for the next match. We should have StarTale versus My Insanity tonight. We'll know exactly what's going on with that. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in what will hopefully be an excellent clan war. That was a lot of fun, folks. I very much enjoyed casting, and hopefully you enjoyed watching. You can check out the full VOD over at youtube.com/TotalBiscuit, spoiler-free when necessary, and of course there'll be a rerun started directly after the show. Thank you to MLG.tv for sponsoring this event and providing $5,000 monthly prize money for these incredible teams, and congratulations to IvD Gaming. My name has been TotalBiscuit, and I'll see you next time.